Let me get this straight. You blew up a building.
2 CIs and the CEO of 22andU.
Two competing federal agencies with the same mission.
I don't understand why those Fed a-holes are so darn mean.
To protect the public from the scourge of dangerous misinformation.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
The word entrapment, not even in their vocabulary.
The explosives we provided were fake.
Sworn to a duty to always tell the truth.
We have no indication at this time that this was a deliberate act.
We're all being transferred.
To where?
The only place currently with openings. Alaska.
Good morning.
Welcome to the office, huh?
And we got the retro feel. You know, the funny about federal buildings, they're all different, but they're still somehow all the same.
Oh, good morning, Agent Walker. At the coffee station. We actually drew straws before he got here, and I won, so we get to work together.
Let's get started. Let's see if we can't stir something up.
Let's give it a minute. I like to warm up the truth muscles a little coffee beforehand.
Well, what do you want to do first?
What do we have for a surveillance van?
Oh, wow. I got a Ford Explorer. We don't have a surveillance van.
Do you put many cases here?
Cases?
Yeah, cases. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy.
You really believe this? You really believe that people posting crap online is going to cause our country to crumble?
I think the work that we do is important.
We don't have a surveillance van.
Me and some people got one. We've never needed one.
We need a surveillance van. We need a big case or a CI who can lead us to a big case.
What do you need the van for?
Surveillance.
CIs, or confidential informants, are the lifeblood of any good law enforcement agency. Public posts on social media are one of the best ways to find CIs. Agents would never use coercion or take things out of context to try and persuade someone to become a confidential informant.
New Taylor Swift single is absolute fire. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here.
Agents always need to be on their toes and ready to make snap decisions.
Is there anything I can do for you guys?
Actually, David, there is something you can do for us.
Chicken nuggies.
Chicken nuggets.
What?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. McDonald's cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Burger King cheeseburger.
Flame broiled.
Chicken nugget.
Oh, baby, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be your beaver pilot. Said, honey, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be.
Awesome, right?
Is this a loner?
This thing's totally legit.
What is this? It's got windows!
Oh, so much fun. So much fun filming those scenes. I can't wait. One more scene. We have got one more scene to film, and that is going to happen Saturday. Saturday at the Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport. We will be filming. I have a copy of my permit right here. Signed by the state of Alaska person that says, yes, you are able to film at the airport. Michael is making his sign for the scene. I got a little sneak peek. This is it so far, if you can see that, and of course it's not coming off exactly like it should there, but you can see that it's you can't really see the lines. That's crazy. Interesting. But it is the good old Spy versus Spy from way back in the day. That is the start of his Welcome to Alaska sign for Agent Walker, which will be a pretty hilarious scene, actually. It's probably one of the funnier scenes. And then we actually got done recording my scene. That was recorded over the weekend. In fact, on Friday. Let's see if I got a little clip that I can show you. See something. They don't have to download much. That was just my testing. Let's see. I don't want to have to download 40 gigs. All right, here we go. Hey, I gotta get my chat up so I can see who's chatting. All right, hang on 1 second. Let me move it over here. I don't know why I kept my glasses on either. But there I am. I'm the mechanic at the motor pool, the nutty guy. And I am nutty in this scene, I tell you what. Gasoline in a diesel engine. And then they start calling. And then they're like, oh, it's just. So, yep. There's a little sneak peek of my scene. So, I've started editing. I started on the, which I should have been doing all along. I should have been just doing the editing, but I'm lazy. And I don't do things like I should. Damn it. So, I should have been editing all along, but of course I haven't been. So, I've got to get back to doing that, which I started again. So, I've got that started. And Cat found these the other day. This is a birthday present I got a while ago. I'm gonna have to find a spot for them. But I will show you. They are the dice from the Millennium Falcon. Dun dun dun. So, I'm gonna have to find me a spot for these. And if you're a Star Wars person, the new Star Wars show is going to come out. It is an Andor, and it actually looks like it might be okay. They had a trailer. The trailer uses some weird music that's not really Star Wars music, but it actually looks like it could be good. I'm hoping. I'm hoping, as it gets into the, I saw the Death Star in there, and so it gets into that. I mean, this character eventually comes to his own demise, but still, you would think that they could do a good show for once instead of the dreck that they've been putting out, man. Like even we watched the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, and that was a really good Star Wars show, right? You had the Wild West feel, you had the little stories each week, and it wasn't just, it wasn't all lore and stuff building up to this and that, and you got to know this. Sometimes each week just seemed like have its own flow, kind of like an A-Team, or like good old TV, right? So you could just catch the stories, right? And then they did build some lore into it. Hey, Patty, they did build some lore into it, but then then it started building more lore, and then finally you got into the Blade and the and the other Mandalorians, and and eventually the boss badass chick who was wanting to be the queen of the Mandalorians, but I'm just like, okay, I'm done. So I made it through like 3 episodes of the season 3, and I'm like, I'm done with this shit. So I hope that Andor is good. I really do. I really want Andor to be good. So, all right, so that's my Star Wars take for today. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll watch the trailer later on or something. But where is that? Oh, there's my page. Okay. So, big stuff happening in the world every day. Just it seems like there's just more and more going on. Over the weekend, we had the email, the 5 things that you did email, and some people think that sucks. Some people think that was funny. I mean, whatever. It's 5 things. I mean, and a lot of it's just put out there because there are people out there that are just getting a paycheck. They're not even working for the government. Now, is it a ton of people? No. Is it is it half the workforce? No. But there's a couple things, weird things. One is you get all these people saying, "Oh, it's the federal workforce is only, our salaries are only a tiny portion of the federal budget. And this money that's going over here, it's just a tiny portion. And this money going over here, it's only 1%. And this over here is only, it's less than 1%." But it all adds up. It all adds up over time. And so the more we can find, the more we can save, the more we can bring the prices of things down, and the more we can get out of this craziness that we are in. Because the shit that's getting uncovered every single day is just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And we're going to talk about some of it tonight. But one of the first things that just blew me away today was the suit that the Associated Press filed. The Associated Press did not want to call the Gulf of America the Gulf of America. They wanted to call it the Gulf of Mexico. Now, it's always been called the Gulf of Mexico. I get that. It's changed to the Gulf of America. Barring what you think about it, why it happened, and that there are actual reasons for that change. There are actual legal reasons to make that change. And I saw something about it. I'm not going to get into it because it's boring as crap. But there are actual valid legal reasons for the United States to say, we'd like to call this the Gulf of America. Google has changed it. Multiple things have changed it. The AP decided we're not going to change it. So the White House said, okay, we're not going to give you access to the Oval Office or to Air Force One. The right to those spaces is not a First Amendment free speech right. You do not have a right to come into the Oval Office to ask the president a question. You do not have a legal right to go on to Air Force One and ask the president a question. It's just not. But the AP said, yes, we do have a right. And we're going to sue you. Carolyn Levitt. We're going to sue Carolyn Levitt. We're going to sue Susie Wills. And we're going to sue Taylor Budowich, who is the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. We're going to sue you 3 people over loss of our access to these places. This was, now, granted, this case will continue, but the blow that this case gave to the entire media establishment of Washington, D.C. is unbelievable. It's huge. It's so crazy. Now, and it totally backfired. It totally backfired on the media establishment in Washington, D.C. Now, why is that? Well, let's check it out. Let's listen straight from, this is Carolyn Levitt this morning, and I've got the ruling pulled up, so we're going to go over the actual ruling from the judge. But this is Carolyn Levitt making this announcement this morning, which is going to have major impacts as far as the press goes across across everything, man. It's so wild. And here we go.
As you all know, for decades, a group of DC-based journalists, the White House Correspondents Association, has long dictated which journalists get to ask questions of the President of the United States.
So the White House Correspondents Association that she just mentioned right there is a group, like she said, it's a group of journalists. So it's a group of media establishment entities, the Washington Post, NBC, CNN, it's grown over time. It was established in 1914. So we're talking 110 years that the White House Correspondents Association has been operating, and it has over time pulled in more and more supposed power to decide who gets seats in the briefing room and who gets into the pool, right? And so it's just been accepted over time that this is the entity that does that. What they failed to recognize, or what nobody realized, was this is all voluntary. This is the White House allowing this to occur. Now, nobody realized it was a White House allowing this to occur. It took a judge to say, hey, White House, you are allowing this entity to make these decisions. No way. All right, here we go. Continue.
In these most intimate spaces. Not anymore. I am proud to announce that we are going to...
You can barely hear it. But there is... And know that this is completely off guard. Like, there is no heads up given to anybody that this is coming. There was no pre-warning that this was coming. This is just, I mean, every single day we see moves like this, and this is not the first administration. This is not the 2016 administration. This is nowhere near that. So if you listen really closely, you'll hear at least one, like there is an audible groan from the audience.
In these most intimate spaces. Not anymore. I am proud to announce...
I heard a
announce that we are going to give the power back to the people who read your papers, who watch your television shows, and who listen to your radio stations. Moving forward, the White House press pool will be determined by the White House press team. Legacy outlets who have participated in the press pool for decades will still be allowed to join, fear not, but we will also be offering the privilege to well-deserving outlets who have never been allowed to share in this awesome responsibility.
So just a little history. During the first Trump White House, he let in, they granted credentials to a lot of new media types, like which they're doing again. Right. But during the first administration, there was a whole lot of new media and alternative media and just media that was never allowed into the White House. They gave them credentials. Those credentials, 400 of them or so, 420, were then rescinded during the Biden administration. The Biden administration went back to the way it always has been and rescinded the new media credentials, took the access away from a lot of outlets, right? So and just put it back to the establishment ones. And so they've always operated with this air of this hubris, right? Hubris, another good word. They just operate like they are the only ones that can operate in this space, and you have to get permission from them to even come in the room.
Just like we added a new media seat in this briefing room, legacy media outlets who have been here for years will still participate in the pool, but new voices are going to be welcomed in as well. As part of these changes, we will continue the rotation amongst the 5 major television networks to ensure the president's remarks are heard far and wide around this world. We will add additional streaming services which reach different audiences than traditional cable and broadcast. This is the ever-changing landscape of the media in the United States today.
And it is changing fast. It is absolutely changing fast. People are getting their news, they're getting their information from way different sources now. It's just nobody TV watching is declining as people age up, especially the folks that have always had access to the internet. That's where they're getting their information. They're not watching NBC News. They're not watching CNN. They're not even watching CNN online. They're not watching NBC News online. They're getting their information from different sources. And to allow those sources to put out the direct information instead of having to get it from secondhand source is the future. And it's got to be the way it goes.
Today. We will continue to rotate a print pooler who has the great responsibility of quickly transcribing the president's remarks and disseminating them to the rest of the world. And we will add outlets to the print pool rotation who have long been denied the privilege to partake in this experience, but are committed to covering this White House beat. We will continue to rotate a radio pooler and add other radio hosts who have been denied access, especially local radio hosts who serve as the heartbeat of our country. Yep. And we will add additional outlets and reporters who are well suited to cover the news of the day and ask substantive questions of the President of the United States, depending on the news he is making on that given day.
All right, so that was her statement this morning. Oh my gosh, it did. Everybody freaked out. So here's the actual. So let's go ahead and look at the order, why we got here, how we got here. All right, stop that. So the White House has ordered the Associated Press to use certain words in its coverage or else face indefinite denial of access. The press and all the people in the United States have a right to choose their own words and not be retaliated against by the government. The Constitution does not allow the government to control speech, allowing such government control and retaliation to stand as a threat of our freedom. This is not the, damn it, this is not the decision. Shit, this is the actual freaking, this is the lawsuit itself. This is not the decision. Damn it, I wanted the decision. All right, hang on. False alarm. I thought I had found the decision. But oh no, you don't have the decision. You have the stupid, don't want their stupid lawsuit. Where is it? Where is it? I want the actual lawsuit decision from the judge. Gosh darn it. I don't know that we're going to find it. I don't know that we're going to find it. Unless I spend a bunch of time digging. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why it's so hard to find these decisions. I guess I'm not. Is it maybe in images? Let's look at images. All right, so I can't find a damn decision, but basically but I can find the, oh, wait a minute, this is it. All right, there's a link to the lawsuit. Right, dang it. So basically what the judge said in his ruling, and I'll find that portion of it here, if you give me a minute, is that the White House Correspondents Association actually does not have, is basically a paper organization that has to get the White House has to allow it to have the power that it has. And it basically, he said in his ruling that the White House could, in theory, just decide that the White House Correspondents Association can't make these decisions anymore. I mean, it actually said that in the decision. And so, and of course, they are losing their minds. Oh my goodness, they're losing their minds. So let's see. No, of course I can't find the actual thing. So the WCHA have come out and said that this is it's a disgrace, and it's a sorry, trying to find the actual thing. So yeah, this guy, this is the president currently of the White House Correspondents Association, of course. And this is the process. So the membership in the White House Correspondents Association determined by a 9-member board from MSNBC, CBS, Politico, Bloomberg News, Getty, Fox, Reuters, BBC, and ABC News. These are the 9 establishment media that decides who gets, who gets in and who doesn't. And so hide that because yeah, and so the judge asked why that White House Correspondents Association even had the power to control access. White House said, "Hey, that's a great point. It's not required under any law." And so they basically said, "Nope, you don't get to come in here." So it's why, I mean, this is a big change. I mean, they have essentially controlled the White House press corps for, like I said, 110 years, basically. And so to get this overturned like this is amazing. And of course, I can't find their response, because why could I, when you search for it? Oh my goodness. They did complain that they didn't get any heads up. Okay, here we go. This is the move tears at the independence of a free press in the United States. Well, that's yeah, okay. It suggests the government will choose the journalists who cover the president. That's not what they said either. In a free country, leaders must not be able to choose their own press corps. You don't have a right to go in these spaces. You just don't. There's no right to go in the Oval Office for anybody except for the president of the United States. He's the only one that has a right to go in the Oval Office. For generation, working journalists elected to lead the White House Correspondents Association board have consistently expanded the WCHA's membership. You haven't. Last year, or 4 years ago, when they kicked 400 press people out of the press pool, you didn't fight for them. You didn't say anything. You just went on your day because you want to limit who has it in there. So don't lie and say that you have expanded the membership. This is just straight up not true. Since its founding in 1914, the WCHA has sought to ensure that reporters, photographers, producers, and technicians who actually do the work 365 days of each year decide amongst themselves how these rotations are operated. So you've only got 9 people that decide. You don't decide amongst yourself. The 9 people decide. To be clear, the Lighthouse did not give the WCHA board a heads up or have any discussions about today's announcement. Well, you don't actually have any power. You're not actually sitting at the table. So why did they need to negotiate with you? They didn't. So, yeah, this is big. Now, the lawsuit is going on. And who knows if it's going to stay this way? We don't know. But I mean, that's a huge, huge, huge thing. I mean, it changes the entire shape of of Washington, D.C. and the press corps and the whole thing. It changes all of it. It is a crazy ruling. And to think that, the AP thought they were in the right, right? They took this to court to try and get them to, we're being infringed upon. It's like, yeah, okay. And they claim, we're all independent media, right? We don't have a bias. Well, here's your president. Here's the president of the WCHA.
I think at best, it's confusing, right? At best, it's confusing.
Not great.
That's part of the problem. We're 6 days away, confusing mess.
Now this is right before the election. This is November of 2024, right before the election. Here's the independent, non-biased president of the WCHA.
Messages are not helpful. One, the Puerto Rican kind of storyline and what that comedian said on stage was a boon to the Harris campaign and to Democrats over the last couple of days. So the media, we can already tell what's going to happen. Like we've already seen the narrative shifting a little bit away from that, right? And now the conversation is a little bit more muddied. And it's also a reminder why, frankly, there are a lot of folks on the Harris campaign that don't want Biden out there. That's true. Like his language is sometimes garbled, right? He's not the most articulate, and that's kind of been his thing for a very
neither was she
long time. But when you're this close to the election, you haven't seen them out on the road that much, right? You have not.
So, it's all about what can Harris do better. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's the big news of the day, kinda. On a completely different thing, as Doge and as not just Doge, But as these folks who are in place now, as these folks get digging into what has happened over the last 4, 8, 12 years, however long it's been, we are going to just see insanity. Just for lack of a better term, we are going to find freaking insanity. And nothing like this story here is exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, all right, where did it go? Damn it. Okay. So Chris Rufo, exclusive, Hannah Grossman. This is Hannah. She is an investigation for the Manhattanist. And Chris Rufo and Hannah Grossman and I have obtained logs from NSA's secret transgender sex chat room in which NSA, CIA, DIA employees discuss all kinds of crazy stuff all on the government time. And oh my God, they don't just talk about this. I mean, according to sources, the sex chats were legitimized as part of the NSA's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. So if you're DEI, you get to sit around and have chats in not only non-classified, but classified places within the National Security Agency. What? So one popular chat topic was male to female transgender surgery, which involves that stuff that you want to know. So then, yeah, you've got people just in there chatting away. They discuss hair removal, estrogen treatments, breast implants, getting my bunghole zapped by a laser. We're actually the National Security Agency people are talking about getting their buttholes zapped. This is what passes for national security talk. One official claimed it's pronouns, meaning that the person does not identify as human, but rather feels like a sexist, genderless thing. And so there's an entire conversation about being and using it pronouns. Intel employees use chat rooms to discuss ethical non-monogamy or polyamory, whatever that is. I mean, I know what it is, but how to say that? It's usually polygamy. I guess that's like marrying other people, but polyamory is oh my God. And yeah, so this is the full story. It's on a place called the City Journal. It is freaking insane. The intelligence community is one of the most powerful parts of the American national security apparatus. It absolutely is. As according to Schumer, they can get you back 10 ways from Sunday, right? So, and so it wasn't only, I'm not sharing that, but that's okay. The City Journal is the place that you go. But what else did we find? So oh yeah, no, I can imagine they were weird, but hey, it happens all over the place. yeah, so they didn't like. So they were celebrating when Pat Robertson died because he was a Christian. Overheard elsewhere, it was so smoky yesterday because the gates of hell opened up to let him in. Pat Robertson is dead, everyone. Only the good die young. Explains why my grandmother's still alive. Like, what the? What? Like, somebody's talking crap about their grandmother. Oh, I'm not sharing. They're talking crap about their own grandmother. What is wrong with these people? So, yeah, they didn't like Italians, I guess, too. Let's see, what else do we got? The NSA and CIA officials expressed their desire to have hermaphrodite babies in order to advance trans ideology. Is there NSA and CIA people talking back and forth? An intersex birth would be a great opportunity to raise a kid as non-binary and let them choose later. These are the people that run our surveillance state. These people have access to classified information. Oh. And then, of course, they've got to get they talk about libs of TikTok, which is an account. This is from 22. Twitter suspended libs of TikTok. And, everybody, she's a monster, an effing monster. Any Jew who says Judeo-Christian without any irony, as such as Ben Shapiro should be expelled from the tribe. What? I mean, what? More just absolute insanity. But let's see, what else do we have? They've got post after post after post. This is the one about, so in a secret NSA chat room, NSA, DNI, and Spacecom officials claim that Tulsi Gabbard is fervently anti-queer, a Russian agent, and a member of the MAGA cult. And so now they're trying to attempt to undermine Tulsi Gabbard from within. Compromise half of LGBTQ people should die and the rest get no rights. This is, probably them. So Tulsi Gabbard is troublesome. I just found out a bunch of things about her I didn't know. A lot of them are troublesome to my prospects of continued existence, along with the continued existence of a lot of people I care about. What does that even mean? Like nobody actually cares what you do. We don't. She's fervently anti-queer. And, just go on about how horrible Tulsi Gabbard is, who is now their boss, by the way. Just so happens that is their boss now. So let's see what I want to catch what Hannah had to. Shit. I wanted to look at the other person too. I wanted to look at Hannah's thing. Of course, I lost it. Give me a second to get it back up. So many bookmarks, so little time. There we go. So this is Hannah's feed. We're going to get to that in a second because Tulsi has responded. And then see, I can't get over this. This is just insane, man. It's just insane. Like, how do these people figure that this isn't going to get found? So the DNI, which is Tulsi Gabbard, sent a memo directing all intelligence agencies to identify the employees who participated in the NASA's obscene, in the NSA, not NASA, NSA's obscene, pornographic, and sexually explicit chat rooms, to terminate their employment and revoke their security clearances. And the deadline is Friday. So you got till Friday. If you were part of this bullshit, you are going to be looking for a new job. So here was Tulsi tonight on Jesse Waters.
To see you again. Good to see you too.
And I'm going to grab a...
Not so good to see some of these transgender sex chats among the intel officials. What are we going to do about that?
Well, Jesse, what we're going to do has already been done. There are over 100 people from across the intelligence community that contributed to and participated in this, what is really just an egregious violation of trust. What to speak of like basic rules and standards around professionalism. I put out a directive today that they all will be terminated and their security clearances will be revoked. But the thing here, Jesse, is like we got to take a step back because this is just barely scratching the surface. When you see what these people were saying, and thanks to Chris Rufo for putting it all out online, they were brazen in using an NSA platform intended for professional use to conduct this kind of really horrific behavior. And they were brazen in doing this because when was the last time anyone was really held accountable? Certainly not over the last 4 years, certainly not over the last 10, maybe 20 years. When we look at some of the biggest violations of the American people's trust in the intelligence community. So today's action in holding these individuals accountable is just the beginning of what we're seeing across the Trump administration, which is carrying out the mandate the American people gave him. Clean house, root out that rot and corruption and weaponization and politicization, so we can start to rebuild that trust in these institutions that are charged with an important mission of serving the American people, ensuring our safety, security, and freedom.
We have gotten so far away from what the critical mission of our government is. We are in a completely different time zone, state, country, whatever you analogy you want to use. The purpose of our actual government, we are so far beyond what it is supposed to be that we have to get control of this. We have to. People getting fired and I mean, not covered. That's the thing, is not covering the stuff that we're finding. You're not seeing this on the news. You don't even know about this except for a few stories like this. And if you seek out, you have to seek this out to find it, and you have to be looking for it. And it shouldn't be that way. I mean, the stories are now about the White House correspondents not being able to put who they want in the White House, and not finding people like this doing this crap. So we've just gotten so far afield. That hopefully we can get it back. I hope that we can continue to figure out what is going on, because man, just every time we uncover one of these things, it's like, are you serious? Are you freaking serious? This is actually what's going on? There's no way. There's no way that this is actually happening. Tell me it's not so. So, and then we've got, just this quick story here about you hear. So the story is, these, congressmen are going back to their cities, and they're having, town halls, and they're getting people that are tearing them apart. Well, it's paid for. Meet the far left groups funding the anti-Doge protests at GOP offices across the country. So we actually have groups that somehow still have money, even though we've cut off a lot of it. But they have, they've been saving up for this. Of course, MoveOn.org announced it was mobilizing resources, part of a Congress Works for Us, Not Musk initiative. Because by God, we can't find out where our money's going. It's got to be all secret. What we used to have in Congress was a thing called earmarks. Earmarks were a mainstay in Congress for a long time. They were, let's say you've got, and so earmarks were put in in the House, who has the power of the purse, right? And so they would earmark money in the budget for certain projects, certain groups, or whatever, right? So this money for the budget is earmarked for this project. And so it's how it got turned into, that's how deals got done, right? It's okay, so you need to fund this study, or you need to fund this college, or you need to fund this bridge, or you need to fund this capital improvement project. Okay, you vote with me on this bill, and we'll earmark your money for this. And so it was used to trade. It was used to trade votes. But it was public. Earmarks were public. You could see the earmark. You could see what the money was going towards. When were earmarks banned? So in 2010, important date, 2010, that's kind of what I figured, it was right around there. The House Appropriations Committee implemented rules to ban earmarks to for-profit corporations. Approximately 1,000 such earmarks were authorized in the previous year, worth $1.7 billion. So it wasn't a huge part of the budget, but it was, it was part of it. And so they banned these earmarks. But what is replaced earmarks now is the shady stuff that we're seeing. The funding of NGOs, the money going to whatever programs all around the world that are not part of the process. They're not. These are not the things that we're finding that we're spending our money on, are not authorized by Congress. They're not going into the detail and authorizing these things. Now, like the NED, the group that goes around and basically, decides who can stay in power and who can't around the world. The democracy, oh gosh darn it, what's their NED? NGO, the National Endowment for Democracy, right? And billions of dollars going to stuff like that, or USAID, who spread that out, and then the anti-corruption press people who basically just use that to all that stuff was not, it was at one time, funded, but then Congress decided we don't need a budget. We need continuing resolutions. And so we'll continue spending on what we're spending. We'll put a 5% increase in, and then these programs just continued. And then this money gets distributed. Or the money that the EPA, the $20 billion that the EPA just sent out with no even idea that any of it was going to be accounted for. And the Stacey Abrams attached NGO that got freaking $2 billion for something. Head of Stacey Abrams, I guess the head of that thing stepped down. So, oh my goodness. Oh, all right. So nobody ever claimed that Stacey Abrams got $2 million from the government. That is not the claim, right? But of course, here's Yahoo to step in with their fact check. Did Stacey Abrams receive $2 billion from taxpayers? That is not what people claimed. Right? That is not what people claimed. I'm sorry, but it's not. They claimed that a group that she is attached to that had $100 in revenue the prior year was awarded $20 billion. You don't see that anywhere in this article. You see nothing about $100 worth of revenue for this organization in here, do you? Power Forward Communities received a $2 billion grant in August 2024 from the EPA's National Clean Investment Fund, allocated for Inflation Reduction Act to help affordable decarbonize America's homes. Okay, what do you see anywhere where this is a brand new organization that had $100 worth of revenue prior to being awarded $2 billion? No, you don't, because that is information that's you don't need to know. You just need to know that no, Stacey Abrams wasn't given a $2 billion. That's exactly how they frame all this shit. So I want to. All right. So one of the people that is making it possible that we see exactly where everything is going and I pointed her out multiple times, is our favorite deaf data Republican. And she's tried to keep herself anonymous to some degree, but which was inevitable, she has been doxxed. Now the media is going to come after her. They're going to dig into every tiny thing about her life. So she came out tonight, and I'm just gonna her name. She posted her name right there. You can go look for it. I'm not going to say it. My ultimate goal is to work with the administration to cut waste and improve efficiency. I resigned from my job to pursue Doge adjacent efforts full time. My backroom check is still in progress. My ultimate goal is work in administration. What began as a side hobby became a mission when I uncovered the roles of NGOs in these issues. This is not about left or right. This is about us, the people. I gave up everything for this, my safety, my career, because I believe in what I'm doing. I am 100% deaf and nonverbal. My lack of signing fluency does not make me any less deaf. She has, besides being deaf, she has autism. She has other things going on. So it makes her have her own language, basically. She has her own language. And it says right here, the result of a language impairment related to my autism called expressive dysphagia, which affects my ability to construct language fluently in real time. This impacts my signing, speaking, and even writing, though writing allows me more time to correct mistakes. My interpreter and I spend hours refining my talking points to ensure she conveys what I mean, not just what I say. I think the interviews that I've seen as her interpreter is really a kick-ass interpreter because they know each other. They're on the same level. They're on that. They have a connection. I'm deaf, and being deaf is not and should never be defined by one's signing ability, particularly when there are medical conditions involved. I do not believe the deaf community should be politically aligned with any party. The priority of mine has always been on holding the administration accountable to deaf Americans, including advocating for policy changes such as allowing a second interpreter camera stream on television broadcasts. I'll continue to use my platform to push for these changes. And then please contact Sean Hendricks for any media requests and consider subscribing for $3, which I do. I have subscribed. I do subscribe. It's $3 a month. So on X. And then we see down here a little later, actually hide this because you never know what somebody is going to post on these damn things. But there was a picture of the weirdo. So this is supposedly the guy that did the doxing right or ninth on YouTube, I guess. And this is it, or the guy that decided that, you know, she needed to not be anonymous anymore. I don't know why. And I'm not sharing. Shoot. Hopefully I shared what I read to you. At least I read it to you. This guy, this is the guy. This is him. Goofy looking dork ball that decided that she did not need to be anonymous anymore. So yep, she is out in the open. And now she's been doing some more media though, and I wanted to kind of get into that because let's see, did she post it? I know I posted it. That was the News Nation one, but then she had another little hit with Glenn Beck, which she made some really, really good points in. And let's see if I got that. I try to open up as many tabs as I can before the show, but I was searching for that. Thing. Okay, so this is a 7-minute one. We'll watch a little bit of this. This is with Glenn Beck the other day. Like 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Let me share this instead.
Joining me now is a person known as Data Republican on X. She built a website, datarepublican.com. This provides detailed searches of publicly available government data, enabling users to easily track federal spending.
Publicly available. I think we'll kick this up just a little bit. Kick up the speed so we can get through it.
This I wish I had 20 years ago. Her site has gone viral, and Americans all across the country are finding wild amounts of wasteful spending. She is herself deaf and cannot speak. I thought it would be interesting to have her on. You're going to be amazed how rapidly it happens. She's going to use a translator, and also to protect her identity, she does not want to use her real name, so Data Republican is here. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much, Glenn. It's really nice to meet you and chat with you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So 20 years ago, I was trying to track the Tides Foundation, and this was without any kind of software. And we found so much money going in and out, but you couldn't follow the money. And it was designed that way. It was almost money laundering.
Yep, that's what we were talking about the other night, the Tides Foundation. That was what Glenn was showing on his big chalkboard. And I mean, again, imagine if the Heritage Foundation or any of the CPAC, one of the conservative institutions or think tanks or, 501c3s, whatever. Imagine if they were getting hundreds of millions of dollars. How would CNN treat that? How would MSNBC treat that? How many headlines would you have? 60-minute articles or ABC This Week. It would be the lead topic of you gave the people that wrote Project 2025 $100 million. If that had happened, it would be everywhere. Search the Tides Foundation. There is not a peep from any of them. So, yes, we still have an issue.
First of all, what caused you to want to build this this website, this tool?
Well, I mean, so I've made some political software before, and I've built election prediction software and maps before, and it actually became very popular in different elections. And then after the election was finished, I decided that I really wanted to research where the charities are going. Like, just to see if I could track the money. I wanted to build a graph for, to see how Unite Way, and then,
Yep.
I figured out.
Y'all 100%. 100% rules. And she makes a very good point coming up. It's just one of the most, it's just duh points coming up. And when we get there, that's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly the same thing that you were just talking about, Glenn. I was looking for charities. I was trying to track charities. And then all of a sudden I found these NGOs, and I realized they're taking all of our tax money and spreading it out within themselves. I realized that this is a government power structure in itself.
Yeah, it is.
This is a government power structure within itself. We are still uncovering all of it. We are going to continue to find billions, and we could approach $1 trillion worth of this stuff, of just wild spending on one certain ideology's wish list, which is what this is. It's been inserted into the budget over time. It's just been going on and on and on. It gets bigger and bigger every year. And it's a government onto itself. It's a government that doesn't need oversight, that doesn't have any oversight, doesn't want any oversight, and doesn't get any oversight. And they're free to do whatever the hell they want.
It's quite amazing. Do we have any idea on how much is being lost in this? How much? I mean, we know that we're paying for circumcisions, et cetera, but do we know how much is being skimmed off the top? Is there any way to tell?
Well, yes, we can infer these numbers.
Right.
For example, the NGO that you discussed, the National Democratic, the NDI, and the International Republic, the IRI, they're both financed by the NED and SEPs. And the CEPPS, and they're all of our congressmen. These are all of our congressmen that are sitting on these boards. And
Congress themselves are the one doing this. They're in on it. And it's not just one party either. It's both parties.
they pay huge sums on air travel and housing and budget as well. And it's a lot of money that seems a little excessive.
When you see there's protests all over America today against Doge and this whole process, do you think that is the elites and the people involved in this freaking out and knowing that their time is coming short? Or do you think average people are really not interested in finding this money and corruption?
Well, so I've seen a lot of people using the same language in this regard, like the elite users, right? But it's not the same vocabulary you see at home. You know what I mean? Like I see the elite using words that don't mean the same things to us. Every person I've researched so far, they're politicians, they're encouraging revolutions and all of this stuff. And almost all of them have connections to the NGOs. They sit on their boards or they have some sort of benefit or control.
Or do you think we can, this is so deep. We've been looking at it for so long, but we never had your software to be able to route it out like this, and we didn't have Doge. Are we going to be able to stop this? Because I know there's more levels to it than what, we're showing from your research.
That is so true. There are more levels. There's more levels coming. There's more craziness coming. The chats from the intelligence agencies, that you're going to find so much more of this stuff. It's all going, it's insane. It's absolute insanity.
Now,
well, I think it's very, very important to understand all the globalists, and I don't really like that term globalist, but anyway, well, it doesn't matter. But they think, okay, they all emphasize this censorship and this secrecy. And the reason why they're offended is because their power depends on people not knowing what they're doing with their money. And so that is truly censorship. Because I think if actual Americans understood what they were doing with our money and that they were actually setting up their own government and actually ignoring what real people wanted to do, we would be so upset. Because the reality is that these people have a government unto themselves that they've created with these NGOs that they run separately from us. And
that was the other thing right there that just, it's so obvious. They have a government that they have created unto themselves that they run separately. And we get involved in all of these other elections, and then we, like elections all across the world that the United States is infringing on people's rights to vote who they want to, and spending money to create media that tells them not to vote a certain way. It's just, that's not the country that we're supposed to have. It's just not.
Created with these NGOs that they run separately from us. And the reason I'm doing this interview is because I'm literally setting up their own government and actually ignoring what real people wanted to do. We would be so upset. They're offended is because their power depends on people not knowing what they're doing with their money. And so that is true.
Their power depends on people not knowing what they're doing with our money. 100%.
Censorship. Because I think if actual Americans understood what they were doing with our money and they were actually setting up their own government and actually ignoring what real people wanted to do, we would be so upset. Because the reality is that these people have a government unto themselves that they've created with these NGOs that they run separately from us. And the reason I'm doing this interview is because I want to promote the knowledge to the public that these people operate in different vocabulary with different rules, and they have made their own government inside ours with our money.
They have made their own government inside our government with our money. I mean,
unto themselves that they've created with these NGOs that they run separately from us. And the reason I'm doing this interview is because I want to promote the knowledge to the public that these people operate in different vocabulary with different rules, and they have made their own government inside ours with our money.
It's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. What we have been finding out, that is absolutely true. There's no net on them. They can do whatever they want. And they have been doing whatever they want for years. And I just wanted to, so this was on Tucker. This is a quick trip. But this is just Ukraine, right? Let's take Ukraine. And what's been going on in Ukraine for how, since 2010 probably. But I mean, just look at this. Tucker Carlson and Bob Amsterdam reveal the U.S. State Department funded a fake church in Ukraine, worked with Ukraine's secret police to break priests and steal churches. Began with Victoria Nuland, one of the most evil people. I mean, she is a real life evil. She is a real life Lex Luthor, right? Victoria Nuland is a real life super evil person. She just is. She went around the world acting like she got to decide who got elected and who didn't in places all around the world. Libya, Ukraine, Iraq, the whole thing, and Poland, even places where they have elections, where we didn't install people, they had elections. Croatia, the whole Serbia-Croatia thing. She was right there. She's been pretty much involved in every conflict that the United States has been in since the 90s. So, begins with Victoria Nuland in that church, which you believe is partially U.S. funded, as engaged in a vicious campaign of harassment, intimidation, coordination with secret police, steal churches, disrupt events, and break priests.
Do you know who at the State Department worked on this op to create a fake church?
Yes. It dates back to 2014. We believe it began with Victoria Nuland. And that church, which we believe is partially U.S. funded, has engaged in a vicious campaign of harassment, intimidation, coordination with secret police to steal churches, to disrupt events, to break priests.
I mean, and they did it with NGO money. They did it with secret funds that don't get reported. And it is crazy. We also have, so we've got almost $1 trillion that we spend on defense every year, right? We have $1 trillion. The U.S. spends $968 billion on defense. We always hear how big the Defense Department budget is. We know that there's got to be a lot of fraud and waste and abuse within our defense budget, but it's pushing $1 trillion every single year. And that is 4 times what China spends. All right, we spend 4 times more than China, but yet we keep losing the arms race to them. We spend 4 times what they do, and we can't keep up with them. The biggest navy is China. Hypersonic missiles, China. 6th generation fighter, China. China. It's China. I can't. I am not an impressionist. I won't even try. Occasionally I'll slip one in that sounds really bad. China. China. See, I can't do it. So William Ho is Princeton's Intel first chief representation in Beijing. I'm not sure who this is. I saw this thread. I haven't read it yet, but it just kind of poked my eye as if we're spending 4 times what China does, yet we don't, they've got a bigger navy. They got more planes. Anyway. So China's military budget exposes the U.S. defense industry for what it is, a bloated, corrupt money pit. I'd agree with that. U.S. spends 4 times more than China, but is losing ground in every military category. China's $235 billion defense budget has built the world's largest navy, cutting-edge hypersonic missiles, stealth bombers, and a 6th generation fighter that actually flies. Well, that's good. It's good that China's jet actually flies. Meanwhile, the U.S. throws $968 billion into a Pentagon black hole. I would agree with that. The U.S. Navy has fewer than 300 ships, struggles to keep them operational, while China has over 370 modern warships and is expanding at industrial scale. That U.S. is outnumbered and outpaced at sea. China's Fujian class carrier has cutting-edge electromagnetic catapults, while the U.S. Navy's Gerald R. Ford class is plagued by cost overruns and tech failures at $13 billion per ship. Oh my God. The U.S. Navy is sinking under its own inefficiency. China's DF-17 hypersonic missiles deployed and operational. The U.S. is still testing and mostly failing. China's DF-21D and DF-26 carrier killer missiles make sure U.S. ships stay far away from Chinese waters. Great. The J-20 Mighty Dragon is in mass production, while F-35 remains a flying money pit. I've said it before. I do not like the F-35. The F-35 is not... You build fighters for what they're supposed to do. We've got the A-10. We've got the F-22, the F-15s, F-18s. They all serve their purpose. You try and make one fighter jet that does everything, it's not going to do anything great. It's just going to be mediocre in doing its other little things. So, getting me off on my F-35 rant. You're correct. I do not like the F-35. The F-35 remains a flying money pit. China's H-20 stealth bomber is nearing deployment, while the U.S. B-21 is still in testing. China builds, U.S. burns cash. We just test and make prototypes, I guess. China has already flown its 6th-gen fighter, while the U.S. NGA is still a PowerPoint presentation. Meanwhile, the Pentagon's F-35 program will cost $1.7 trillion. Oh, my God. More than China's entire military spending for 7 years. $1.7 trillion. If we're going to continue with this F-35, that's horrible. U.S. military industrial complex is legalized grift operation. The Pentagon has never passed an audit. Billions go unaccounted, and contractors like Lockheed and Raytheon overcharge for weapons that don't even work. Correct. They do. China is integrating AI-powered drone swarms. Oh my God, drones. I don't even want to think about war fighting drone swarms. I do not want to think about drone swarms. That is going to be an issue in the future. It is. How will you combat that? I'm sure they'll come up with something, but it's going to be an issue. Drone swarms are going to be an issue. Despite spending 4 times more, the U.S. is in a position where it cannot win a war in the Pacific. And, I don't know about that. But wartime is a lot different than peacetime. So this is kind of that's I don't know. How much do they pay their soldiers? If Yeah, no, that's a good point. We probably pay our soldiers more. We probably do a lot more. There's a lot more health and welfare stuff that goes into our military. There's a lot more personal stuff that goes into our military, I'm sure. But I mean, at almost $1 trillion a year, it's got to, we got to change some stuff. So, that's, I mean, an interesting look at the military. There is some talk out there that the former FBI director, Comey, might be having a look taken at what he actually did back in 2016. And I guess there is a question about, let's see. So, breaking FBI is investigating James Comey for running an off-the-books honeypot operation to infiltrate Trump's 2016 campaign with undercover agents. So they're saying that James Comey might have an off-the-books, which means the FBI didn't know what was going on, spied on the campaign. Now, it'd be interesting to see what he gets. But so Comey briefed Chuck Grassley, Senator Feinstein, and staff before he was fired and said the agents did not believe that Flynn intentionally lied. So when they got, General Flynn, charged him with lying to the FBI and whatever, and basically got him canned from being Trump's DNI, he briefed them that they didn't think he lied. But then after he got fired, after Comey got canned, he and Mueller changed their tune to claim he actually did lie. And so then we have this video of him bragging about see, it's just, because they were inexperienced in government, we took advantage of them, did stuff that we would never have done before. And we basically got all this stuff. Oh, shit. All right. Oh, hang on. I guess the video I was trying to show you did not run. Why not? That's why. Okay. So check this out. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm stupid.
It's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration.
So we took advantage of their inexperience to do things that we wouldn't have actually done and were probably illegal. I mean, what?
In the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration, the protocol, 2 men that all of us have perhaps increased appreciation for over the last 2 years.
George Bush, who started all of the all the wars that have, we have a whole lot of more appreciation for, Bush and Cheney administration. No. Yeah, granted, this was 2018. But they are actually going to go back and look at what actually happened. So we will actually get to know what the FBI did, especially in like their Crossfire Hurricane investigation. We never got to the bottom of that. We never actually heard what actually freaking happened, right? We got told things like when Trump would say, well, you spied on my campaign. And everybody say, oh, there's no, you have no proof of that. So we'll find out once and for all, maybe if the evidence is still there now. I mean, if there's off the book things that are going on, then that evidence might be gone, but we will see. All right. Oh, I like I said, there's going to be just craziness everywhere. So let's take a look at California Congressman Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell goes to dinner last night, I guess with a bunch of lobbyists that he'd never met before. But somehow this person named Nick Sorter, who has almost 1 million followers, getting close, 844,000 followers. He's on scene covering stories the MSM won't. He's been covering things. He was like, Elizabeth Warren stuff, and she like pushed him out of the way, and he's an internet media personality who tries to get the story, basically, right? So, well, it just so happened he was sitting right next to Eric Swalwell through this entire dinner as he got completely blown out drunk, and he basically recorded him for 90 minutes. So, breaking exclusive, Eric Swalwell panics when I ask about his Chinese spy girlfriend Fang Fang and whether that's a bigger national security threat than Elon Musk. I sat next to drunk Swalwell at a dinner for 90 minutes. He was immediately compromised by a group of lobbyists he'd just met, spilling intimate details about his job and asking for help cheating on his wife. Massive national security threat. The guy should have his clearances revoked. Swalwell spent his dinner bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill, telling them he's bored with his wife and only wants to F10s. Worse, he spoke about abusing his power in the House Intel Committee, which he has since been booted off of, saying he pushed to subpoena Ivanka Trump because she's hot as F. The guy must be removed from the Homeland Security Committee. He cannot keep his freaking mouth shut. After I began questioning him, Swalwell jumped back into the group of lobbyists to hide from me, but I pressed on. Dude looked absolutely terrified and 100% guilty. He knows he's been caught. More to come later. I have about an hour and a half of audio to go through. So, oh my goodness.
With a Chinese spy, then transparency in the federal government? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? What's Fang Fang think of that?
What are you doing?
I mean, what's fascistic about exposing government corruption? I mean, I know you're just
look at
a bunch
these
of lobbyists. They're buying you a bunch of booze, and
you got the lobbyists there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, I'm exposing the guy that you're trying to manipulate, basically, and
that's awfully nice. I know you were talking about maybe finding somebody else because you only like to fuck people that are 10s. I just heard that one too. So what do you think about that? Do you want to comment on any of it? Elon Musk is a national security threat, but you sleeping with a Chinese spy is not. Is that correct? You don't want to comment on that at all? Looks like guilty as charged.
Oh boy. So I guess Laura Loomer has heard this audio as well. The audio that Nick Sorter recorded last night is so salacious. Representative Swalwell might have to resign from Congress. I would know because I was communicating with Nick the whole time as it was happening. It's truly shocking. Teamwork makes the dream work. Now, Laura, she is, yeah, anyway. She's an interesting character. That's all I'm going to say. Laura Loomer is an interesting character. So, yeah, so the more to come on this specifically, but I mean, what in the world? You're seriously going to, I mean, I know the guy is not very intelligent. He's not. I wish we could find people to run for government that actually have something to give to us, because this guy does not have anything to give to the United States people. It's all a big party to him. And I mean, I can't wait to hear
Chinese spy? Then
I can't wait to hear about the stuff he's saying, the orgies in Washington, and it's going to be interesting, to say the least, when this audio comes out. So be prepared for that. We'll be following that. We will let you know. Nick actually looks like he's trolling him a little bit. Hi, Rep Swalwell. Well, I know you have me blocked, but I wanted to thank you for the lovely chat we just had at dinner. You'll see a video recap tomorrow here on X. Regards, the man whose table you invaded while you were inebriated at dinner. Tell Fang Fang I said hi. Oh, man. I mean, it's all a party to these guys. It's all a freaking, there's no, I mean, is there any honor? Is there any, I don't know. It's crazy. I can't wait to hear it though. I mean, if you're going to be stupid, you might as well just be stupid for our entertainment, because we're going to get some entertainment out of it. That is for damn sure. All right. A couple more things I wanted to go over. We got this we have an actual post from the Doge, folks, the Department of Government Efficiency. Let's see, 8 hours ago, U.S. taxpayer dollars were going to be spent on the following items. All have been canceled. $69 million for the Eurasia Foundation to do digital transformation activity in Europe. $32 million to Internews for programs including media enabling democracy, inclusion, and accountability in Moldova, and the promotion of sustainable media outlets, because that's exactly what our money needs to go to. $7 million for the American Bar Association to promote the resilience of the Eurasian legal sector and civic society. What? No, that's $7 million to pay some people's salaries, and maybe $100,000 that'll end up in the Eurasia legal sector and civic society. $520 million, $500 million for a consultant to do ESG investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources and expertise. You're going to give $500 million to an ESG consultant for Africa. So, I mean, would we hear, oh, it's such a small part of our budget? No, it adds up. $1 billion is not a small portion. That's not a small amount of money. And ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. It's a set of criteria used to evaluate a company's sustainability and performance. So basically, it's an ESG score. You get an ESG score from the ESG people. And, they look at how inclusive you are, your greenhouse gas emissions, your labor practices, your workforce diversity, your executive compensation. It's basically your woke score. $25 million to promote biodiversity conservation and promote illicit livelihoods by developing social responsible behaviors in Colombia. What does that even mean? $25 million to pay some more salaries so people can have $1 million homes in Washington, D.C. $40 million. I gotta read that again. $25 million to promote biodiversity conservation and promote licit livelihoods. Not illicit, illicit. So those must be good and wholesome livelihoods by developing socially responsible behaviors in Colombia. Oh, my Lord. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. What? $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. So we need $40 million to get migrants who have come into our country up and moving and working instead of sitting on their ass, so they can improve the social and economic situation. $42 million for John Hopkins to research and drive social and behavior changes in Uganda. $45 million to address the needs, opportunities, and challenges identified by activists and other civic actors engaged in nonviolent collective act. What does this? $45 million to address the needs, opportunities, and challenges identified by activists and other civic actors engaged in nonviolent collective action. Okay, can we see if this actually comes up in Data Republican stuff? Let's see. Hang on. Now I'm curious. I want to see if those keywords come up. Let's go to the website. Dun, dun, dun. All right, and let's do federal grant search. And let's do keywords, and let's paste in our keywords. Oh, wait. Search. Okay, maybe I need less words. So let's say non-violent collective action. Let's see what comes up there. Here we go. All right, there's two of them. PXP is a grant to provide direct and accessible support that addresses needs, opportunities, and challenges identified by activists and other civic actors engaged in nonviolent collective action. Oh, there we go. So this was actually from AID to Partners Global, and that was for $20 million. So I guess there's more to this somewhere, because that was only 20 million. So people-powered social movements that advance human rights, social justice, democracy, and inclusive development. USAID will work with these communities to co-create PXP to ultimately elevate locally led approaches and build on existing platforms. And this just doesn't even say anything. This is just handing out money. And then we have $52 million for the World Economic Forum, because of course we need to send $52 million to the World Economic Forum, because they don't have enough private people that fly their planes into Davos every year for the World Economic Forum's conference. They can't get enough from, regular billionaires, that they need USA, or, wherever this came from. I don't know if that was USAID or some other agency, but they're definitely on it. And then we also find out that agencies often have more software licenses than employees, and the licenses are often idle. We pay for the license, but they don't get installed on a computer. So at GSA, they have 13,000 employees, but they have 37,000 WinZip licenses, 19,000 training software subscriptions, and multiple parallel training software platforms. Dogs are restless. I think they might need to go outside. Saying the word. 7,500 project management software seats for a division with 5,500 employees. 3 different ticketing systems running in parallel. Fixes are actively in the work. So if you're paying for those things, then, and they're just sitting there, then why? Why? Why do we need software licenses that aren't getting used? We're at a place right now that we can just buy licenses as we go.
Alexa, 5-minute timer.
And then the audit was repeated at the Department of Labor. So this was February 24th. And today we find that 380 Microsoft 365 licenses with 0 users. 128 Microsoft Team Conference Room licenses only installed in 30 rooms. 250 VS Code licenses only using 33. 129 Photoshop licenses only using 22. 5 cybersecurity licenses, each with 20,000 seats. DOL headcount is 15,000. So you have 100,000 seats of cybersecurity licenses for 15,000 people. It doesn't make any sense. But to hear the people opposed to this is they're saying that it's because Elon Musk wants to steal your money. Yeah. Just making government more efficient. It's not that difficult to think about. It's not that difficult to do. It's just not. All right. One more, and then I'm going to go get some food because I'm hungry. Oh, wait, two more things I want to see. Tonight was, yeah, pretty much. Tonight was the Dalton, Illinois primary election. And Miss Tiffany Hinyard was on the ballot. Oh, yeah. So, corrupt supermayor Tiffany Hinyard of Dalton, Illinois, is a no-show at her own election party after getting blown out by over 3,000 votes in her primary race, only garnering 12% of the vote. Her X account is currently sent to private. So they have, thankfully, I was really hoping that the people of Dalton would not. So this is the election part, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my goodness. So she got crushed, which is just, I mean, I was hoping that people weren't really that dumb. I mean, and I figured they weren't, but you know, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. So she is done. Oh yeah, look at this. 82%. 14 of 17 precincts reporting. Turnout only 24%. I mean, this is a problem. This is a problem everywhere. Get out and vote, especially when you got somebody this corrupt. I mean, this is how somebody that corrupt could actually win, is 24% of the turnout. But 478 votes to 3482. She got, oh my gosh, she got crushed. That is hilarious. And here's the scene at her event. She has yet to arrive. Yeah, no kidding. She is not going to arrive. She did a music video, I guess. Here's a part of it. What is she feeding them?
From Vegas to Chicago, I rode around in Tahoe. Well, that look like you, Papa.
I have no words for that. That's just ridiculous. So this is Jason House's celebration. Little different vibe there. So it will be interesting to find out what exactly transpired. So we got Jason House, Village of Dalton trustee, Allison Key. I don't know who these people are, but yeah. So oh, I love it. That is great. Oh my goodness. See if there's another one. I better not do that too much because the dogs are going to freak out when they hear it. Oh my goodness. What I don't understand though is somebody brought this up today is why can't they go after her? And it's so true. Oh yeah, the smoke. I know exactly. People in oh gosh. The smoke detector. That's a whole nother story. Somebody's saying why can't they go after her? Why won't they go after her? And it's frustrating because what the governor of Illinois said was, "Oh, there's already a federal investigation of her. So we're going to let the feds do, the investigation." It's like, wait a minute. Why can't you have two different investigations? One, you have no communication with the feds to even know what they are investigating. So they could be investigating something completely different than you would be. But why they wouldn't do it is because it would be a bad, and this is now obviously this is my theory, but why would Prickner? Yeah, I know it's I can't even remember. JD Pricks. God damn it. Now I gotta look it up because Pritzker. Yeah, Pritzker. Pricker. That's what I'm gonna call him. Why wouldn't he do an investigation? Why wouldn't the state want an investigation of Tiffany Henyard? And it's because of the party. It is 100% a bad look on the Democrat Party to have someone so corrupt that they are going to just go like this. And it's disgusting. It's Chicago. I mean, it is Illinois, is one of the most corrupt places in the United States. But it's ridiculous that they would not have the AG, the Attorney General of the state, have an investigation going on into Tiffany Henyard. It's just unfathomable. But they don't. They've said they don't. The governor has said that they're letting the feds handle it, which they have no idea what the feds are actually doing, but they're just going to let the feds handle it. Oh my goodness. So we switch gears to another local moron, which is Mayor Bass of LA. The LA Times reports that Mayor Bass' office has been editing out Q&A sessions from news conference videos posted to her Facebook page, cutting out parts where reporters press her about her handling of the fire. LA Times asked Bass's office why the videos are being edited and got no response. Of course you didn't. Of course the mayor is not going to actually respond to you because she's the mayor and you are just a lowly press person. And, I don't think they're going to press too hard because, they still have to, I mean, are they going to give Bass a pass? I don't know. She sat there in that press conference and said, "Oh, we're going to get right on it. We're going to get right on rebuilding."
Nobody's buying it. This person, Karen Bass, is a total disaster. And every time that you think it gets as bad as it could, she makes it worse. I mean, just look at what she's done this week, Griff. So she starts off by saying...
So there were actually leaked phone calls from her office, which I guess Fox is not allowed to cover for some reason, but
that rebuilding and getting back into your homes could take 5 years after she promised
count
President
5
Trump to
years.
his face that she would clear away all the obstacles. Then she launches an investigation into herself about why she went to Ghana. And then she tries to shift the blame, as you say, by getting rid of her fire chief. I mean, this person is a classic machine politician, clinging to power, not taking responsibility. And by the way, let's not have a huge amount of sympathy for the fire chief. It's true that those firefighters should have been on duty. I see people running around, Rick Caruso, for example, saying that, oh, the brave fire chief who stood up to Karen Bass. No, the fire chief was a disaster as well. And you can add to that the empty reservoir lady, who on $750,000 a year, by the way, she's a disaster.
$750,000 a year for the water person in LA. Unfreaking believable. So yeah, she's a mess. I mean, she's an absolute freaking mess. And it's just going to get worse and worse for her, I think. I mean, maybe, who knows? I mean, that's the thing about folks like her, is she finds a way to get through these things. She finds a way to come out the other side and blame somebody else, or blame the fire chief, like I said, or, you know, there was the person that she hired to handle the claims, and then she basically was going to pay him $500,000 for like a few months worth of work. And then that got out and made him do it for free. And he wasn't very freaking happy with that. What do we got here? So this is what they're talking about with the phone calls. This is a leaked phone call.
In terms of my trip, just so you know, I'm missing 2 work days. That's it.
She also sends a very cryptic message.
So let's see here. Let's go back a little bit. Oh, come on. Don't do
Phone
this
call
to me.
from January 4th, just 3 days before the fires. Mayor Bass preemptively defends her Ghana trip.
And just in terms of my trip, just so you know, I'm missing 2 work days. That's it.
She also sends a very cryptic message to read between the lines, whatever that means.
And hopefully you can read in between the lines. But I would just appreciate, and it's hard for me to tell you this, but hold tight. You will understand soon.
Now, in these text messages provided to Citizen Journalism Foundation within Fox 11, they read, quote, I know the company's Fox's lawyers have had some concerns about this one and have asked us to pause. I wish it was up to me. It's an interesting tape, and I'd like to know what she's referring to. We also asked if Fox 11 can at least cover this on social media. They were informed they were barred from posting the story on social media as well. Yeah, it's both for now. We'll work to get clearance on both. This recording of Mayor Karen Bass has received 6 million views on X, and residents are demanding answers about what she meant by what she was saying in this.
Yeah, but none of the LA folks will actually even cover it. Why is that? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, that's where we're at. We'll keep an eye on that. And on that note, I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings, because I'm sure we're in for some more just amazing, crazy stuff, because it just doesn't, it's every single day is something new. So we'll see. And on that note, thank you very much. Oh yeah, as we go out, I like this so much that I am just going to use this as my outro for every single show. So thank you very much. I will see you Thursday. Have a wonderful night and enjoy.
Because I don't like vegetables. Here you go, how about this? Why the fuck aren't you eating chicken wings? You're asking people, why are you not eating vegetables? Why aren't you fucking vegan? Help the chickens. No. Not a lot of people want to be vegan.